Hello and welcome to News 9 Facebook Live with me, Adarsh Vepachedu. Today marks the end of a very long wait for people from across the country and one particular party, that is the BJP. And of course, today happens to be the 5th of August, the day when you have the beginning of the construction of Ram Mandir, in a sense, with the Bhumi Pujan. That marks an important day, not just for the Saffron Party, but also the Prime Minister Modi. Right from delivering on its ideologies to playing some key strokes, the BJP has indeed positioned itself quite perfectly. And in fact, we were just going to discuss about how there are several important elements, several important things that took place right from the time Prime Minister Modi landed in Ayodhya. He in fact landed at the Saket Medical College at the helipad, and he was received by Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath. And the first thing that was on the agenda was the visit to the iconic Hanuman Gadi temple. The Prime Minister, along with his entourage and also accompanied by Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, went to the Hanuman Gadi temple, which is where the Prime Minister performed Sashtanga Namaskaram as well and offered his prayers at the Hanuman Gadi temple. And after that, you had the Prime Minister, in a sense, heading along with the Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath to the actual site where the Ram temple will be constructed. Before the actual Bhumi Pujan began, you had Prime Minister Modi plant a sapling which is considered to be very holy as per Hindu traditions, and it was done so with a very special drip irrigation method. And all through the way, you had Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, who was also present along with the Prime Minister himself. Now, after the planting of the sapling, that it was then when Prime Minister Modi was taken to the site, to the actual place where at this point in time you have a sort of a makeshift tent where you have the Ram Lalla, the idol itself, and that is where he in fact took darshan of Lord Ram, and that in a sense was one very important moment. It was again the place where he offered his prayers, and that is when it was time for the actual Bhumi Pujan to begin. And yes, he was right there, and social distancing norms were completely followed. You had quite a few pujaris who were present for the Bhumi Pujan ceremony, and you also had a 40 kg silver brick that was supposed to be installed, and after a few initial pujas, that eventually happened. So the silver brick was laid, which marks the beginning of the construction of Ram Mandir. That was in a sense the foundation stone laying ceremony that was conducted by Prime Minister Modi in the presence of Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath. You also had RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat being present, and so was Anandiben Patel, the governor, right there. So a lot was happening at this point, and once you had Prime Minister Modi lay the silver brick, that in a sense marked the beginning of the construction of Ram Mandir. And yes, the entire sequence of events were witnessed by about 175 people who were present at the site where the Bhumi Pujan was conducted. So that is something that happened again. And after the Bhumi Pujan ceremony itself, the Prime Minister took to the stage, and obviously before the Prime Minister, you had the representatives of the Sri Ram Janmabhoomi Tirtha Kshetra Trust make a small address. And after that, you also had Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath speak about how this in a sense marks the beginning of a new India. You also had RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat take to the stage and address those present, about 175 people who were present there. And after that, it was the turn of Prime Minister Modi to address the August gathering. And before that, he in fact launched a commemorative stamp on this occasion, given the fact that Bhumi Pujan was conducted today. So after that, he went ahead and he addressed those present. He termed the construction, the beginning of the construction of Ram Mandir as a new beginning for India, and that Ram Temple will be a symbol of traditions for the entire country, and it is something that will keep the entire country together. He also spoke about how the beginning of the construction of Ram Temple will, in a sense, mark the beginning of plenty of economic activity as well, given the fact that you will have a lot of employment that will be generated through this very Ram Temple, and the number of people who will be employed for various matters at the temple. And yes, of course, even after the temple is constructed, the amount of tourism that will flow into Ayodhya, the number of people that will be visiting the place will be again inexplicable. It will be a huge amount. So obviously that, in a sense, will indicate that tourism will begin to flow into Ayodhya, and that, in a sense, directly means that there is more employment to the people present on the ground. So yes, even while the Bhumi Pujan was being conducted, you had people from across the country witnessing the grand spectacle. You had several politicians, the who's who across the country, in fact, going ahead and performing their own pujas for Lord Ram at their residences, and some even at the temple. So a lot really transpired, and the way in which Ayodhya was decked up was simply mesmerizing, to say the least, and preparations have been going on for quite a bit. Yes, you would have actually seen Home Minister Amit Shah also being present along with Prime Minister Modi, but that did not happen, as quite recently the Home Minister himself tested positive. But yes, all in all, social distancing was largely maintained throughout the event, and when it comes to Prime Minister Modi's schedule as well, at Ayodhya, it was very tight, and it was almost stuck to the T, except for the part where the Bhumi Pujan actually took place, which concluded at about 12:44, and then you had the addresses. That is when that was the only point where things went a little out of the schedule. But apart from that, everything went down to the T, and everything was really planned out to the T. And yes, when it comes to the Ayodhya city itself, the holy town was completely decked up, and there was full security in place to ensure that nothing untoward happens. So yes, all said and done, bottom line really is a long wait has come to an end for the entire country. One only hopes that with the beginning of the construction of Ram Mandir, it has really opened a new chapter in Indian future, in Indian history as well. And one only hopes that this is something that will stand as a beacon, a symbol of unity for the entire country going forward. With that, it's a wrap on this brief live interaction with you folks. Do stay tuned. I'll be back with lots more another day. Many thanks for joining us.